Hello everyone and welcome to another of these cube drafts, January 24 edition. And my previous cube deck was black and red, so I maybe try to avoid um, at least drafting both of those colors again, just to have some variety. The good cards in this pack that I think are worth considering over the rest of them are Lingering Souls. Uh, Maybe the Ambusher is fine. Gonti is nice. If you wanna do the mono red thing, Bowmat Courier would be good, and also the Zealous Conscript is gonna be good. A good one as well. Now, the Lingering Souls can be quite good. It's kind of a two-color card, but you can maybe splash this flashback rather easily. I don't take the Gonti because I had a black-red deck in the previous video. I do like the Ambusher, but I'll take the Lingering Souls. It's usually pretty darn good. And yes, I know it's black, but I can be white-black even though I was a black and red deck in the previous video. Alright, there's a Bloodstained Mire, but that's not my colors if I'm gonna be white-black. Also, I can be anything, of course. But now let's see what's the best follow-up for this card in here. There's a Restoration of Ganjo. I'm not sure how good it is. It should be quite okay. There's an Esper Sentinel. Yeah, that should be quite good. Yeah, if I play this thing, I want to have access to white mana, and then I can, splash for the flashback cost maybe. So I would be a white deck if I'm gonna play the Lingering Souls, and I think the Esper Sentinel can quite often draw you cards. So I'll take that. Yeah. And let's see if white is gonna be open going forward. Well, there are some white cards, but I think the best card in here has to be the Jewel Mine Overseer. Because note that this has the last ability is that at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of your library, and then you may play that card that turn. So it's kind of a drawing extra cards each turn whenever you can or want to play the card, which should be most often the case. Yes. I do think this is the card with the highest upside. Also worth considering is the Fabled Passage. You would always play this card. But I think the Overseer is slightly more higher power level, so I can take this thing right now. Let's see if white-red will be somehow open. Okay. Well, there's no red card in here, so maybe it's goodbye Jewel Mine Overseer. Someone to my right could be picking some red cards. There's this series. First strike lifelink on a 5 mana 5/5 is pretty darn good, of course, and then you can get some extra cards with this. This is one of the alchemy cards. Sion's Intervention is good. Self-Love Savior is good too, but, if you're an aggressive deck, but I'm not sure yet if that's gonna be on my deck. Anquist Unmaking is nice. If I'm gonna splash for the Lingering Souls, I might as well splash for this, but you can find a bunch of removal in this cube, I think, quite easily. So I'm not gonna take it now. I'll take the series. This is really tough, for example, for some aggro decks to beat a life-linking 5/5 first striker. And it's still good against other decks too, because this also has the actual card drawing ability tacked into it. Well, it doesn't draw you cards, but it will seek you cards, and that's basically the same thing. Now, okay, a couple of one red card and Goblin Bombardment isn't going to be the kind of card I'm interested in having. Now, I could be just straight up black and white too, make the Lingering Souls flashback quite easy. How about the Sir Joshua and Sir Saxon? 2 mana 2/3 double team, and you can have them on the battlefield at the same time. Each other. Okay, they get battle cries. Okay, then I could take it, or I could take the Lauren of the Third Path. Maybe the white green is interesting. There's also Sun Petal Crow though. I'll take the Sir Joshua anyway. And there's a Voice of Resurgence. Yeah, I think this starts clearing things. There's still multiple decent green options here, and yeah, the Ledger Shredder is good too. Become Immense is nice also, but I would take just the Voice of Research since it is quite nice. Yeah, let's try white green. It's at least like an opposite of what I had previous time, which was of course black and red. And then we'll see if I'm gonna do some splashes. This here actually allows me to. Oh, well, first of all, this is just a pretty darn good pack. There's a Sanguine Evangelist, but there's also the Blooming Marsh, which would, in a white-green deck, help me to splash for the Lingering Souls. But is it a reason to take... yeah, am I supposed to take it over the Sanguine Evangelist? He's quite good for the kind of deck I'm going on here. I think I'll take this, and assuming I will have more. Well, now there's some great cards too. This is something that happens, of course, sometimes in Cube. There's a Godric and the Jaya here. I would take the Godric over the Jaya, but I mean, I could still be white-red as well. But Tamiya's Safekeeping isn't a bad card at all. If I'm gonna go for the white-green stuff. I have these nice 2-drops here, so maybe for mana curve reasons, I'm not gonna ditch these green cards. These are my only 2-drops actually. So I'll take the Safekeeping, and I think I'm gonna lock into white-green unless something weird happens. And here, the Soul Cauldron is nice, Lion Chassis is nice, but the Emery's Call is just a... You can play it as a land. How often am I gonna get to 7 mana with this deck though? This will be an aggressive deck, not a ramp deck or anything like that. So maybe this Emeria's Call isn't that great, and I should just take like slight graveyard hate in the form of the Lion Shash. Yeah, I like it more than the Agatha Soul Cauldron. So let's take this thing. Another 2-drop here. And there's a Guardian Evangel, which I like more than the Duelist. I don't think I'm gonna splash for red. But the Evangel is quite nice. You know, if you don't know what it does, you can read it if you're not familiar with alchemy cards. But yeah, this can enable some aggressive turns. Can, you know, basically for every 2 mana you get another one of these. And there's a Rootbound Crack. Well, I'm not splashing for the red. I'm gonna cut that thing. I'll take the Maul of the Skyclaves, which is a decent card. There's an Anguished Unmaking still here if I'm interested in splashing for the black, but I have no way, I don't even have any green-white producing lands yet. I'll take the Intervention because it is quite nice. Even if I'm not a ramp deck, I might get to 6 mana, and this has, of course, fantastic options. And here I can take the Lovestruck Beast. Become Immense. I was really hoping this to come back, and I got it. And I got the last big playable card. Alright, so white-green it is most likely, and here... Oh, well, it's an annoying pack because there's both a Temple Garden and a Windswept Heath. But there's also Luminarch Aspirant, and in Cube this is one of the actual very powerful cards. A must answer in this kind of a creature deck. So I'm not gonna get this pick 9. I guess there's a chance to get one of these lands, but there's also a possibility that neither of them is coming back to me. But Luminarch Aspirant is one of the, you know, of those so good cards that you are gonna take it over the Great Dual Land. I think I have to do it, so I'll take it. And here I will see some decent options. There is a Sword to Plowshares. I don't, by the way, think the Mirari's Wake is that good. You don't usually need mana that much when you are at 5 mana already, and the Anthem effect is not necessarily something you want to pay 5 mana for. But I have an Adamantine God in addition to the Swords to Plowshares, but I guess I can have some high quality removal. Maybe this deck doesn't want to really give the opponent that much life, but there are also some aggressive matchups where this is fantastic tempo. So let's just take this stop here. Now I do realize I don't have that many green cards here actually. I just like these 2-drops quite a bit. And also the Lovestruck Beast, but we'll see. I can still ignore the green part. Okay. Another land that would help with the Lingering Souls, but I'm not even sure if I am that interested in it anymore. The Sky Sovereign is really good. Ossification Woodland Acolyte would be fine pickups as well. How many creatures this is? This is 10. Yeah, I guess I'll take an ossification at this point. I'm pretty sure this can come back to me. Sky Sovereign is good, but I already have a 5 mana card and a 6 mana card, so let's just take the ossification here. I'm not sure about the Lingering Souls. I could play it without being able to splash for it, but we'll see. Okay, well now I see some good green here. The Eternal Wanderer is also nice, but I don't want to take any more 6 mana cards. Settle the Wreckage would be not a main deck card for this deck, but it's a decent sideboard card in some aggressive matchups. But the Oracle, the Huntsman's Redemption, and the Frillback are all pretty decent options. Yeah, you get the 3/3, and then the chapter 3 is quite nice. Yeah, I think I'll take the Huntsman's Redemption because the chapter 3 is something this deck can really benefit from quite a bit. And here we have Thragtusk, Knight of Autumn. Yeah, there's an Iganju. That's a land, of course, you would play quite often. I mean, you would play this in any white deck, of course, but you can. This is quite often going to be useful as the channel mode too. So it's a straight upgrade compared to a Plains. So I think I should take the land now. These are fine playables, I mean good playables, but I'm not gonna have a shortage of them, so I'll take the useful land now. And here we have a Restoration Angel and a Vivian Raid. I think the Restoration Angel is just a better card. It doesn't work with angels, but I have no angels. I can, flicker anything else. I'm not sure how many good flickering targets I have, but I'm sure I have some. And this is just a flash 3/4 flyer for 4. That part alone is quite useful already. Okay, this would get a Temple Garden if I found it, but I haven't got a Temple Garden. It will get also the Spara's headquarters, by the way. Yeah, it's time to pick a land. It's not the best one because this always enters tapped, but it produces both my colors. And while the Elspeth Conqueror's Death is good, dual lands are very important, and I need to start picking them. And here I got the Kellan. No, this is not the one I saw earlier. I actually have 2 of these good 2-drop options. Also the AO, or OW, how do you say it, is a good one. But I think the Kellan is better than the Wayfinder. Let's take the Kellan. And, okay, I got the Temple Garden, so now the fetch would be nice, but it's fine. I'm just happy to get the Temple Garden. Someone took the Windswept Heath from this pack. So I was left with the Temple Garden, and I'm happy to have it. And another option to pick the Mirage Wake. This is not the Storm the Festival deck. I think the Aranto Vanguard is better for the kind of deck I'm going for, and this is the card I was assuming to come back. I guess I can have a cantripping 2/2 thrill back or a portable hole. I think I can take this. I don't necessarily need the thrill back, but this is probably a sideboard card. I got an option between these two. Do I want to have a 2-drop or a 3-drop? I guess I don't mind having the naturalize effect here, so I'll take this thing over the flyer. And this doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't have that many green cards, but there's still 7, and I think I like most of them at least. Alright, so there is an Indatha Triumph. Oh, if I can get a fetch land still, that would be basically 2 ways to flashback for the Lingering Souls. Now, of course, History of Penelia is good. Collective Effort, I think, is good in this deck. Hangback Walker is always gonna be a decent card. The Titania's Command is probably a 6-drop I wouldn't mind running as a second 6-drop in the deck because it's so good. But I think the easy pick is the Triumph, another green-white land, and now I actually can just play the Lingering Souls because I have some way of actually getting the black mana available too. Alright, and here we see one of the actual very good cards in Cube. You know, the kind of cards I'm actually happy to first pick in Cube, and the card is Esika's Chariot. This is, of course, still very insane, so let's take that. And I could easily take a 4-drop because I don't have that many of them. Alright, so there's a Forsaken Crossroads, which is a card I could be taking. This I like the Blade Splicer, and this of course is very good with Restoration Angel. But there's also Boseiju, which would be a nice pickup. But the Forsaken Crossroads is kind of a green-white land, but it's also something for which I can name black to get more consistency for the Lingering Souls. So I'm gonna take it over the other options. Of course, all the green and white cards here are still good, but it's now time to pick the lands because I think I do have enough. I do have enough spells in the deck. Now, am I supposed to take an Overgrown Tomb? I'm really tempted to take it, but Wedding Announcement is a really, really good card. In cube also. That is what, 5 lands. I'm at 24 playables. I guess I have a few easy cards here, but it's really it's a choice between the Overgrown Tomb and the Wedding Announcement. I like the Tomb to make the Lingering Souls just easy to cast, but I think I have to take the Announcement. It's so good. All right, look at all these white cards in here. I see green isn't very open here, so maybe I was supposed to move the green, but let's not worry about that. There's a Thalia, Guardian of Traben, and also Mirel. Elite Spellbinder is good. I don't think I have many picks for the Ranger of Eos, but any of these 3 other white cards would be fine. Not just fine, but very good cards. Now I have a multiple non-creatures myself, like the Chariot, so I think I'm gonna take the Mirel over the Thalia. But you could, argue between either of them. Well, I don't think the Captain Eberhard is that good unless you need a 2-drop. I would take the Recruiter over that one. But there's also In the Trenches, but I suppose I should take a creature. I have a 1 Anthem effect in the Wedding Announcement already. I take the Recruiter. This can just net you cards and also make your creatures cheaper. Wemcall Engine is good, but maybe not necessary for this deck. And I got the Restless Prairie, which I'm taking over the Adversary, which is of course a good card. I wouldn't mind having it in the deck, but I have enough 2-drops, and this is just fixing my mana. This is also very good. The Mass Pump effect on this land can actually be quite useful, given the kind of deck I have here. And Briar Bridge Tracker. There's Ludus, which I'm not gonna companion because I have permanents I want to play that cost more than 2, but it's a fine main deck card. I like it more than the. I'm just main deck, but in the deck card. So because you can just play it as a 3-drop, I can get some of my 2-drops back using it. So that's a nice one. And here I get an option for the Collective Effort or the Hangback Walker. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater can be quite nice. I take this, but I think it might be a sideboard card. Alright, Felida Retreat is good. This Ascended Animist is good. I have a bunch of non-forest lands though. So I could just take the 1-drop here too. Zenot Scout. Yeah, I think I'll take the 1-drop. Make sure I have enough early plays. Alright, that's another card that can help me cast the Lingering Souls. There's also the Blade Splicer, which is good with Resto Angel. Am I supposed to pick it here? There's the Garruk Relentless too. Okay, I'll take the Splicer, just because of the Resto Angel synergy. This doesn't matter, I guess. I got the Thalia here, nice. And, yep, that's that. Okay, so that was all the lands gone. I'm not gonna companion Ludus because you would have to have. There's the restriction of each permanent card in the deck having a mana value of 2 or less, and of course that's cutting every permanent card from this column and everything right on the right from that. So let's see the kind of an easy cuts. I could see that Safekeeping being a sideboard card. I could even see maybe the Swords to Plowshares, although yeah, this is still a cube where creatures are going to be played in every deck. So I think it's the kind of removal spell I will be having. Lion Shash, I could see this being better as a sideboard card after all. Ossification is can target also planeswalkers, and I will have enough basic lands to have a target from my side. So I think I'm gonna keep it as my another removal spell. I'm actually not sure if I want to run Thalia here, because let's see, type creature. So in the bottom row here you see all the non-creatures in my deck, and all these will be getting taxed by Thalia. So let's say I have any of these 3-drops. If I have them in my hand, I don't really want to play Thalia on turn 2 unless I have some creature 3-drop 2, but I quite like these cards. Also, it makes the chariot worse. My 6-drops, well, no, this is actually not a 6-drop because of 12 delve, but still, it's bad with Sun's intervention. I think I'm going to use this Thalia as a card in matchups where either the 2-power first striker matters a lot, or the opponent plays even more non-creatures, especially expensive non-creatures than and I will use it then. The Sigardian Evangel just being able to net me. I mean, it's a pretty nice effect because you can just play this and tap something, and of course if you have 4 mana you can play 2 of these and tap 2 things. That enables very good attacks, and you can tap even lands. You know, tap something in the tap a land in the pre-combat main phase, and then you can cast something in the post-combat main phase, and the opponent won't have mana to counter it for anymore, for instance. So I like it. It's also good. Well, it's somewhat good with the Resto Angel. It's still not the greatest because it still costs a bunch of mana. Also, this makes you discard a card which can matter for the Become Immense, mostly. Getting a few food for Delve. All the rest of the 2-drops I think I will want to play. I guess I could maybe not play the Lovestruck Beast after all, because my deck won't play naturally many 1/1s. So if the 1/1 gets dealt with, this is just a 5/5 blocker. Still a good card in Aggro Mirrors, because it's a very good blocker, but I can see cutting that. Now the Acolyte works with the Resto Angel quite nicely. Yeah, I kind of like the top row here, but I need to still cut something. Maybe, yeah, the collective effort. I think that's an easy cut from the main deck. I will have this in the deck when the destroy target creature with power 4 or greater matters, or the destroy target enchantment matters. But of course the mass pump effect is good too, but usually you will be... Well, no, you don't have to escalate this. You can just play the final mode and then pump your team and then have a good attack, but I don't know if that's something I need to do in the I mean, it's not going to be that good in every matchup. For example, matchups where the opponents have a lot of removal, and then the mass pump effects are worse in those matchups, especially if they have a lot of mass removal. You can't really rely on mass pump effects being that good in such matchups. Now this is only 8 green cards, 22 white. Of course I have a lot of green-white cards too. So I could have actually drafted a mono white deck, and I think I could still, kind of like splash for green only. But since the nice green cards are 2-drops here, I could not play the Scout here. But yeah, I think I'm going to still play green as my main deck color. And the Maul of the Skyclaves is a card I can cut. Well, what else? Lingering Souls is now good. I have some ways to get the black mana. This is counting soldiers. How many soldiers do I have here? Not a lot. So Miral itself and then 2 other soldiers. But this of course has the ability to prevent your opponent from casting spells or activating abilities of those certain permanent types. So it's quite good in that sense. But maybe it's a card I'm gonna cut from the main deck. Maybe not every opponent is that interested in casting stuff on my turn. And this is a 4-mana 3/4. Okay, I can cut this. And then I guess one thing is that do I want to play Sion's Intervention? It is pretty good at 6 and it is an instant too. I think I will be playing it. But I need to cut at least one more card. And this is now down to 17 creatures, although the Huntsman's Redemption is a creature, Lingering Souls is a creature, Chariot. Okay, I have a lot of creatures. Yeah. So, the Acolyte, the cantripping thing, it has the Adventure too, which could matter sometimes. Resto Angel works nicely with the Acolyte. But I could see it not being that good. I mean, I think I like the other 3-mana cards more, so I'm gonna cut that. Now, 24. Could I play just 16 lands in here? I could cut some of this stuff, but I'm not gonna cut the Evangel. It is a 3/1, so when you play this on turn 2, it's not actually that great. This is mostly good because this has the option to also be a relevant play later in the game, but I suppose as a 2-drop is not that great, and I could maybe only consider bringing this in matchups where the 1 toughness isn't such a vulnerability. So if I cut that, I think I like this mana curve quite a bit. Although this is only 6 2-drops. Well, it is 3 1-drops too, and I guess this Ossification can act as a 2-drop. I think I just like these 3-drops so much. And the expensive stuff too. Yeah. I'll play it like this. Maybe this amount of early plays is gonna be enough. Yeah, I have there a couple of 2-drops options I cut from the deck. Nah, this is fine. This is fine. Let's add some lands. Of course, the Eiganju and all the dual lands. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 lands that can give me green and white. No, also the Crossroads. That's 5 lands that can give me green and white. And then I can choose black for the Crossroads, and the Triumph here can add black mana. So that's 2 ways to get the Lingering Souls. Flashback. I don't think any other card in here enables a really production of black mana. This thing allows me to search basic land. Yeah, so unless I put the swamp in the deck, it's not gonna help. And I'm not gonna put a basic swamp in the deck because there's no other way to fetch a basic land. So it's not really an option for me here. Yeah, I like the Become Immense, can be a surprise winning card. Yeah, I'll do this. So only 2 ways to make the flashback happen. But of course the Lingering Souls as a 3-drop, even if you never flashback it, can be quite good. So I'm gonna at least start with that thing in the main deck. And then I suppose I have 1 white producing land. Now this is an even amount of green and white, but I think I should focus on the white a little bit more. I also have that 3-drop, basically a double white card. So if I put now like a 6 more plains and 4 more forests, that is still a healthy number of green producing lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's like 9. Am I No, I actually was supposed to... What did I do here? Did I cut something I wasn't supposed to cut? How many lands this is? 16. Okay, so there's 1 more land to be added. That's 9 ways to get green mana. Not that many ways to get the green mana for turn 1 for the Sun Out Scout, but I think it's fine still to have it, even if it's not a turn 1 play. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 12 ways to get white mana. So am I supposed to play one more forest after all? 12 ways to get white mana. It shouldn't be too difficult to get a double white for the Lurus, when every 5th card in your deck can produce white mana. Yeah, okay, let's add one more forest here, just to make sure I will have the green 2-drops and the 1-drop available early in the game if I draw them in my starting hand. Alright, so this is the deck. I'll tease the main deck, and a lot of sideboard options, but we'll see what kind of matchups I'm gonna have. That is a fine starting hand. I can play 3 of these cards despite having just 2 lands in here. And okay, let's see what to start with. Are they gonna cast a spell on my turn? I do like this slightly more though. This attacks for 3. Let's do it now, like this. They had no play on at 2. Let's see, they could have a Wrath effect, but this becomes indestructible, of course. This format has also Sunfall, which, you know, exiles, so this indestructible won't help in that case. But they are not casting a Sunfall yet. Is this gonna work? Alright, so I have now, 7 power of attacking. Okay, they don't have a spell, so this is kinda okay then. They're gonna lose the game. So I can play now the Esika's Chariot here. So if they have a Wrath effect, get Distill Stroke, sure. Then, you know, I would have had the vehicle here still. Okay, let's see if they have an actual odd or even. Well, I guess they're gonna. Well, that's exiles too. So they are back in the game because I have only 1/1 here left. I guess I can play this series, which is gonna ask a question. Also, I do have the creature land there, which I could have used for attacking on this turn too, but it would not have been enough damage. I will play the series now. They have to have an actual removal spell on it. Let's see if they do. Well, they do have an Elspeth Conqueror's Death. So things are not so great now that they had the Wrath effect and everything else they needed there too. But it's not, of course, over. I can play the Recruiter, I can play the Voice here. And I guess I'll just hope that they don't have, you know, another mass removal effect. Yeah, they kind of had all they needed there. White has a lot of mass removal effects in this cube. Let's see if they have yet one more of those. Okay, they have cast no spell, so this, you know, flips. And they could have a Settle the Wreckage though. That is pretty horrible. Well, if this... I'll get at least the elemental token, so there's that. I don't want to attack with the Restless Prairie right now. They're not gonna get anything with this. So I think I'm gonna play into Settle the Wreckage now. Not much else going on. I will get this token here. Oh, they had nothing. Well, that's interesting. Am I playing this? I might as well. Kindred Denial. Okay, so counterspell only. Then they fetched a 3, or they seeked a 3 mana card. Well, I don't think a 3 mana card helps beat this group of things. Okay, they dig through time. They have only 3 mana left, so there's no Sunfall possibility now. Because this is when this dies. Yeah, I get this token here, and now of course I have the Breastless Prairie too. So let's go and finish them off. So they have the really aggressive. I mean, not aggressive, but they're really defensive. Quite the opposite of aggressive deck with multiple wrath effects, dig through time, counter spells. The counter spells are not good against my deck, because my deck goes under them. But I need to be prepared for all the kind of mass removal. Did I see a lot of targeted removal effects? I guess that's the Elspeth Conqueror's Death. So what is bad? The series isn't gonna be good. It's very hard to try to cast this without it getting countered, and also so that it can attack, so this gets removed fast. So I'm not gonna play that, but I can play still the Sun's Intervention because it's an instant. I can do it like an end of turn. I don't care about Swords to Plowshares. I basically saw nothing really. They're gonna have a win condition in the deck, but I'm not gonna have a Swords to Plowshares. That won't be useful. Ossification, kind of not interested in that one either. I will play the Tamiya Safekeeping. This at least allows me to save a creature from a Wrath of God. And I should play Thalia here. That's absolutely the kind of matchup where Thalia will be great. And I could play like I want to have enough early drops to pressure them, so the Sigardian Evangel might not be the worst. But also like the Cantripping 2-2, but it's a 2-2 only. It's quite slow. And Mirel would be like okay-ish, because they have a bunch of instants, including counter spells. This would render useless. But I don't know if I want to play a 4-mana 3-4. I prefer having a cheap thing. And I guess I'm going to lean towards the Sigardian Evangel, just to make sure I will have my 2-drops and start the pressure, applying pressure as early as possible. That's that. And this hand will be a keep. I have the 2-drop, I can have the 3-drop. I even have the Lingering Souls here. You know, not the Lingering Souls, but the mana to flashback it. That's what I tried to say. Okay, I don't know what 2-mana counter spells there are. I know there's an Axel counter spell, so they could have the Vanguard countered with that, but it's still gonna be the spell I'm gonna play here. Okay, there's also Censor, because this is gonna also be useful later on in the game. Let's start with the wedding announcement. Spell Queller. Okay, so as long as this is on the battlefield, that remains exiled, and I get it back to my hand. No, I can cast it if this dies. Okay, so now I see some creatures after I removed all my creatures. Okay then. I didn't remove my creatures. I removed my ways to deal with creatures. Guess I'll just do this then. Are they actually gonna aggro me out? So now the bodyguard is protecting the 3-3 here. Okay, so I could sack a creature to fetch a specific creature or a basic land, but I don't think I'm gonna lose the tempo for that. So they're gonna make this into a 5-5, so I'm not going to block it. Yeah. Don't know what I'm supposed to do with my removal spells now. The Ossification and the Swords to Plowshares start seeming somewhat good cards now all of a sudden. I'm gonna decline on that. Well, let's try attacking first. They are missing land drops, but that doesn't mean it matters at all. Heartless Act on there. The thing is, if I use the Safekeeping, I can't play any more green cards here. I can at least save it with the bodyguard. I guess I'm gonna do that. Then I have the scout here. And then I have an untapped land, so I could have 2 3-1s right now. Sure, let's do that. I don't like it, but I think I have to try to do something. I will get +2/+2 and trample on 2 of my creatures, and I can respond with the safekeeping to save one of them. Okay, they can get the card from me. They have no mana to pump the Misery Shadow, so this is actually not so bad. I can pump the scout, one of the evangels, perhaps. Although why would I pump the evangel? I should just pump the 3/3 to make it into a 5/5 trampler. I can't choose a way to deal with creatures. So they might actually go with the Gonti block on the 3/3, but they're gonna use the Gonti to block one of my guys regardless, so it doesn't probably matter. Let's do it like this, and then just do the attacks. So the spell queller is still there. I could save my 5/5 by using the Iganjo. I could save it with the safekeeping too, but I don't think it's gonna be that important. No, I will also trample 3 extra if I use the Iganjo on that, but I kinda like to use it on the spell queller. So if I kill this, they would take 11 damage going down to 6. If I kill it with the Iganjo. And I would have a 3/3 left over. Okay, I'm gonna go for it. I think I don't need double green now necessarily. I will leave this for cycling purposes. Because if I draw like another land on the next turn, I will want to cycle this. They got a card from me, but I hope it's not nothing too amazing. The Blade Splicer will be good. So of course I'm gonna attack with the 1/1/2 if they try to kill one of the 3/3s. Okay, they have a Resto Angel. That's really annoying. Well, they won't be doing that. It's a May effect. Yeah, Resto Angel having 4 toughness here is like hugely annoying. And that was the my card, which would have been really good with the Blade Splicer too. It's a real shame that they had that thing there, because now they have the board presence to keep blocking these guys. Especially the 3/4 here. I think that was a crucial turn in this game. I was liking my chances a lot before that Restoration Angel happened. A flash blocker was something I wasn't expecting. I guess I'm gonna use this at some point, so that might as well do it right now. But this is, I mean, I don't have the... Okay, well that's, it's a shame now that I didn't play the land, but of course I had only 1 6-mana card in the deck, so it's fine. I can actually now just attack with everything, and if they don't have anything, I lose my first striker, but also they lose their spell queller because they have to block a 3-power creature. I can play a Wedding Announcement here, and they go down to 2. And then I have the Soon's Intervention here, which I quite like. Not on this turn, but on the next turn cycle. And I get to draw a card from there. Now I got the forest here. Okay, become immense is gonna be good. This is the land. I don't have to care about that. I'll just do this and I'll leave. I'll do this on their end step. No reason to do stuff into this open mana. They might have a counter spell for it, but it might cost a lot. Okay, Giruda. Alright, so they will get a creature with even mana. But if it's nothing, if it doesn't have a lifelink, I will be winning this game now. Yep, I win this game now. So I'm gonna create 2 knights, seek a non-land card. They don't have an enchantment. Nope. So I'm not gonna destroy an enchantment, but I'm gonna gain 3 life. Because I could kill my own kill my own wedding announcement. But all this is kind of not needed because I will have already with the become immense. This will be a lethal attack. They don't know about it, but now they are about to see that. I will have one guy going through, and that's enough for this thing. This goes through. No need to duel for anything. They are tapped out, so no worry about counter spells. So the become immense was good after all. Yeah, it was a little bit tough after the Resto Angel, but I suppose, you know, drawing the Sion's intervention brought me back to the game, so that's nice. Again, fine hand. I don't know when I'm gonna cast the 6-drop. I can't play this on turn 1 unless I got lucky, which I didn't, but it's still fine. And I think I'm not going to play the Sir Joshua instead of the Aspirant first. Yes. Because then I can play the Aspirant and make this get the counter, so they would have to have a pretty big blocker to not make me... Okay, they have a Cultivate, so they are ramping. Are they green-white? Or I guess I now see if there are other colors in the deck. Although I might just play the Evangelist now. I have only one white source right now, so let's see. Okay, there's black as well. Okay, I did not get a white source, which means that I can cast only one thing this turn. So I actually won't be playing the Lunark Aspirant. I'll just play the Sanguine Evangelist instead. Yep. So let's see if I'm facing more rat effects now. So each other creature you control named Sir and Joshua and Sir Joshua and Sir Saxon has Battlecry. This thing also has Battlecry. So I'm actually gonna attack for quite a bit now. I mean, it's gonna be plus... Okay, well, let's see if they have a creature they can crew with. Well, it would have to cost only 3. Okay, they exile that thing. Okay, sure. Well, that's a heck of a good card. Too bad. Don't have the mana for it. I think that it's correct to play the Lingering Souls now. I need flyers. They might have ground blockers now, so let's do that. And I actually have the black mana available. I can, in fact, flashback. But I do need to draw one of my white sources. I guess I have like 3 forests left in the deck still. So I can still draw a basic forest. At least that would allow me to cast the Chariot. I still haven't used the Aspirant 2. But now they of course have many colors. So they can have a rat effect if they are playing such a deck. This is like a... Well, I don't know what it is, but... They probably will have creatures with power 4 or greater. Otherwise this isn't gonna do much. Okay, so still nothing much going on. And I can still only play one card. But I'm gonna play the Sir Joshua and Sir Jackson here. Sir Jackson? Saxon. Because that gives Battlecry to this thing. So I will kill the Kiora now, I think. It's wasting a lot of damage. I mean, they basically are gaining 8 life because I will have to attack everything there. But I really don't want them to draw any cards. Let's just do this. because of course Battle Cry doesn't affect the creature itself, so I only was able to attack for 8 here. Now is there a mass removal card? Of course my hand is really stacked, and they just played this and it basically gained them 8 life, which is not nothing. But I'm still in a pretty darn good shape here. Okay, I guess I'll just attack with everything and see what happens. It's weird the opponent isn't doing anything. This is a massive amount of damage. No settle the wreckage. That's just a lethal attack. I didn't even do the math, but that's what double Battlecry does on this kind of a board. What a weird game. So did they only have lands in their hand? They had all the colors. This adds any color. I mean, they must have had only 3 lands in their hand. What card is something they can't cast at 8 lands? And doesn't do anything to this board. I guess they massively flooded out. Well, I didn't learn much. I saw a Vanishing Verse, Cultivate, Kiora. What to do here? What is bad? I'm assuming they're gonna have a creature for Swords to Plowshares or the Ossification. Why would they play Kiora with just the untapping ability? Don't know about this thing. I didn't see anything for this, but I suppose they have creatures with power 4 or greater. I just saw nothing from their deck. What is the kind of a bad card in this matchup here? I don't see any. I'm just gonna use the same deck. Esper Sentinel. If they have ramp, this will be kind of useless at some point. Am I gonna play the Acolyte, the Maul of the Skyclaves? So if I choose something else over the... Nah, I'm just gonna play the Sentinel too. It's so good on turn 1. It's not that great later on later turns, but... Well, now I have the Mulligan. Only 1 land and that's not even... that can't even produce white. This is a good hand, of course. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 curve here, but I can't lose a land here. I guess I'm gonna play the Prairie on turn 1, so the Xenode Scout is not needed. Because this will enter untapped. Because I wasn't the starting player. Okay, I will lose the 1 drop because I can't actually play it on turn 1. I'd rather have the Kellan on turn 2. Because yeah, I can play it, but then I might have to miss out on my other... I will have to play a tapped land at some point, and I'd rather do it on turn 1. Alright, now I at least get some white here. Okay. So we'll see if they're gonna play some spells this game. They have 4 mana available now. Caravan, which I can destroy with the Night of Autumn, and I can even reset the Night. Okay, they have a stop there. Fine. I can live with that. They have 1 mana left. Because the Goose can tap for something. Okay, they have a Lanova Elves. Well, this can still be grouped into a 5/5, so I think it is worth just killing it. Especially because I can use the Angel to re-trigger this ETB. Okay, well, that I would have loved to also kill, but sadly I lost the creature there. So that thing is a big problem, of course. They will be able to crew it if they have like any creature with 2 power. But it is not like I can actually have much say in here. I have to just hope they actually flood out again. Yeah, Sky Sovereign is really good against my deck. It will kill these things. I need to actually consider... I mean, there's like a very small chance I want to activate this land in response to this trigger, this chapter 2 resolving. So I can fetch an actual creature from my deck. Maybe something that deals with the Sky Sovereign, but is there anything after I had the Knight of Autumn. Oh, there's the one thing that can actually... They have a Kiora, so that's actually not gonna give them a... Okay. Well, they... But this is interesting. I mean the cantripping thing, but it's not in my deck, isn't it? The one that has an adventure that returns a permanent card on top of my deck. Well, I'm not gonna activate the Restless Prairie now. I could choose something over the Esper Sentinel. Yeah, I don't need it. Sack this and get me a... Let's now see. There's a series which I was thinking about. Oh, there's a Lurus, but it can't cast the 3-drop. Yeah, I think the best card, especially now that I drew a... No, I had a land already. But it's gonna be the series. Now they have to have an actual removal spell on it, and the Sky Sovereign can't deal with it. So let's do that. And let's attack into that Kiora now.
You're making me crabby.
I'm gonna put a stop in my upkeep and draw step, just in case I want to activate this before this chapter triggers. There's a low chance for that, but might as well be prepared for it. Now, do they have a kill spell on the series? That is a really, really relevant question, because if they don't, I quite like my chances. Now it doesn't matter if they can attack with this. Yes, they can kill my 3/3, but that's not so relevant when I have the series in here. They do have access to 5 mana because the elves can tap for mana and they can untap a land or the elves with Kiora. So it's not like they are stuck at 3, they are having access to 5. But they don't have access to white, and they play white. Oh, they can untap the goose to get white from the food they just made, but now that means they have only 3 mana. But one of them, yeah, they have a white spell that costs up to 3 mana. And they sadly can kill the series based on... Yeah, they have that. Okay. So is there a reason to activate this land right now? Well, let's go to draw step first, because I can see my draw step. Alright. So I guess I can use the Aspirant here. Yeah, the damage won't matter, so I'm gonna go to main deck and main phase. Pump this guy. And now I will... It has trample, so at least I get rid of Kiora here. But before I do anything else, I'm going to use the Aspirant here. And give it a counter. This I will be having entering untapped. I will actually say black here, because I might need black and I don't need third green that much. And this will be untapping, because I do want to have mana for the Angel, which can save the Luminarch Aspirant. So I'm not gonna play this yet. The slight problem still is that they do have 20 life, so I can't really pressure them that much, even though with the Restless Prairie I have some good attacks here, especially if I'm gonna be forced to play the Angel. Okay, there's one green, sorry, the white mana. It cost them 3 life, but this thing can crew the Sky Sovereign, and they now get a land. And this, of course, if they have the Wuburg mana, they can start doing the sick thing, but they are not yet there with the Wuburg mana. I guess they're gonna get a land that can produce something else than white, black or green. Yeah, that works for both ways, and the Gilded Goose can allow them to get the 5th mana. But let's now at least do a little bit of damage to them. I will save the Aspirant for sure. And then I can attack a lot. for a lot in here. Oh, that's gonna be good against the Sky Sovereign. I guess I could use this against the Golos too, but I don't even have to make the decision because I have one white mana left over here. Now who's gonna pick the counter? I think it could be the land, but it could be also the Resto Angel. Let's give it to the land in case they have a mass removal effect. This is now gonna be a lot of damage, but I don't think it's 17. It is 15, I think. So they don't have to jump block. They might still do that. It's fine. And now I'll see what to do. They would have to have a both. Okay, they would have they need to untap blue or red source here to make the Golos activated ability happen. And that would also tap the Llanowar Elves, but this is of course very good if they can cast a few cards. Exile the top 3. You know, they can exile 3 lands of course, but okay, that's just a Mind Stone. So let's see if they're going to... No, they're not going to crew anything. They want to have this as a blocker. Understandable. Now, I'm not going to, of course, use the Swords to Plowshares on the Golos in here, because then they can just crew in response. And this will... Yeah, this is still going to be a good attack, actually. I'm going to go for this. And who's gonna pick the counter? I think it's this time gonna be the Resto Angel. It will be a 4-5 after the pump. I guess I can make it into a 5-6. Although the Golos can block the Restless Prairie right now, so maybe I should just do this. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Let's see what they're gonna do. I don't think I'm gonna attack with the Aspirant. They can't make this into a land, I mean into a creature. So if I attack with the Aspirant, can they block it? I mean, it's only 1 damage, and I think now that they're at 7 and I might use the Swords to Plowshares, it's not gonna matter. So I'm gonna make it like this, and I assume now they are going to, you know, crew the Sky Sovereign. They have 1 card only left. They actually can't afford really to. This becomes a 2-2 even, though it's not gonna be trading with the Llanowar Elves. And they can't use their, I mean, only the Sky Sovereign or the Golos is gonna be able to block. Not both of them, unless they have a card saying otherwise. Okay, let's do this. This is what I'm going to do. And now, if they're gonna crew the Sky Sovereign, that's what they can do. Let's have that up. Now I can let them block the Resto Angel, but then they would actually be dying. This is a really interesting spot though, because if I know they have nothing in their hand and they have nothing with the Mind Stone to draw, they are gonna lose here because they're gonna... No, they would actually, they are not gonna lose. They can trade with the land and then jump block the other 5/5, take 6. Yeah, it's better just to kill the Sky Sovereign. I don't like leaving the Golos alive. What? This is actually gonna make them go to 13 life. They survive this attack. Well, they still have to jump block with the elves though, because this is I'm offering 16. Yeah, they would still go to 2 in the end. But I guess they could. They have the Mind Stone, so if they draw like an untapped blue or a red source, which they might not have in the deck though, that would still allow them to use the Golos. But they didn't want to see what they're gonna draw, so that's that. Okay, I don't have the green, but I have 2 mana. If I draw any land, I can play the Splicer. It's not a great, but I think I'm keeping it because I should have a pretty decent number of live draws, as long as I draw a land, and this is it. because I can draw also a lot of 2 and 3 mana spells, and now that I even got the green producing land, it is quite nice. Well, I actually am going to now... Yeah, I don't know how good this is gonna be, but them getting a cheaper instant and sorceries, and especially because I got a 1-drop, I'm a little bit tempted just to exile this thing before it does its thing. Yeah, let's do it. I'm still gonna play the 1-drop even though it can't protect anything right now. Just wanna add some tempo here. Okay, well, I guess they have now power 9 in their deck. So, well, next turn is going to be this chariot, so now I'm gonna play the aspirant so that I can actually attack with this bodyguard. I don't mind if they block. Okay, so let's hope they don't get an ancestral recall immediately. Okay, Mox Pearl is a good one now. It's just a mana source, but that allows them to play 2 mana sources this turn unless they have no land in their hand. Otherwise, this is the same as drawing a land. Okay, so am I gonna pump this thing or am I gonna pump one of the tokens? I guess one of the tokens is better. So let's do this pre-combat. I could even pump the chariot itself, but I think that's not necessary. Let's do this and attack for 1. Is there some 2 mana card that's gonna make this attack bad? Well, I mean, I can save 1. I mean, I don't have to deal 1 damage if there is something with flash. I think there might be something with flash, so just to not lose this in some nonsense. Okay, there's something with flash. I think I wouldn't mind trading with that thing. But it's only 1 damage. I mean, they could have not blocked it anyway and go to 20. That's probably not going to matter. If this was a flash creature with 2 toughness or more, it would have been awkward. So they're gonna want to attack this with this. Okay, they are not. So they don't loot or anything. Ossification. Well, I mean, that's not what I need to do here. I'll have mana up for Become Immense here. And the counter is gonna be given to, I guess, this 2/2 now. Attack here. I know I could have played this pre-combat and copy the token, but the golem, but I'd rather have Become Immense up. So, settle the breakage. Nope. What's this? Okay, they're gonna have a... They are going to have now a rat effect, so I'm not going to play anything here. Unless they have a way to kind of deal 2 damage to the chariot. I don't know what's going on. We'll see. Sphinx is Rev. Okay, that's fine. It's only 2 cards. Just don't have Ancestral Recall, please. So if they... Okay, maintenance, what's this? Well, that I guess is maintenance. This is the final match in the event, so no big deal. No Sunfall, no Wrath of God. They can still be, of course. They can still be, sadly, a Settle the Wreckage. But I'm still attacking with the Chariot. But am I going to attack with both tokens or just 1? I'm at least giving a counter to this one that's not going to attack, because I'm expecting now Settle the Wreckage. So maybe I'm going to just save one of these 2/2s. Let's just go for it. I guess I get 1 more land here. If they have a Settle the Wreckage. It is in the cube, I know that much. Okay, nothing. So, sure, I don't need any more things on the battlefield, so I'm not gonna play the Blade Splicer here. After 1 more land, I can actually cast this in their end step. I don't know what they have in their hand though. And they didn't surveil this thing, they wanted to draw this thing. This flips when they have 7 or more in their graveyard. Okay, well that's... that's map token. Well, they control an artifact, so I'm gonna get 2 map tokens here, but I'm not gonna do anything before I see what they are gonna do. Yeah, I don't actually get what's going on. Again, I give a counter to this one. That's not gonna attack just because if they have the now the settler frigate. I don't know. I'm not gonna play around that one thing anymore, but because they only surveilled and didn't. Because Sublime Epiphany. Okay, they were waiting for me to counter something, so they're gonna counter a target activated or triggered ability return. That's not even gonna do much. They don't get to, because they don't have a creature to copy or make a copy of, and there's no spell in the stack. So actually these 3 other things are nice, but they are not that backbreaking at all. And now I am going to be able to attack with a lot of guys, and if they have something for one, I guess they can have a sword to plowshares, but this is 8. This is just a lethal attack, so I'm actually just gonna go for it. I'm not gonna... Wait a minute, I'm gonna... I have to exile 1 here, okay. Yeah. Alright, so they had a Sublime Epiphany, but since I cast no spells, they didn't get to use it that much. When they got to use it, but it wasn't such great for them. Okay, they didn't get the Ancestral Recall from this thing, and that's usually good enough. Time Wall can be good, but maybe not when they have no creatures to attack with. The extra turn isn't gonna matter that much in those cases. Yes, so again, a deck that hasn't got that many creatures. I'm kind of tempted again to not play the Swords to Plowshares in these matchups, or the Ossification. And I will be playing, of course, the Thalia again. Ceres. I don't want to play the 5-drop, Sorcery Speed 5-drop against them. And then I will add some other cards like the Woodland Acolyte. No, the safekeeping is gonna be, I suppose, good, or is it? Not necessarily. Wow. I'm playing the Evangel here, and then I'm going to play... Well, I'm gonna put the safekeeping. It has maybe some use. They are gonna have rat effects, aren't they? That's the sideboarding. I'll keep this one with the Esper Sentinel. I like this a lot. Okay, card immediately. Alright, I like that a lot too. I think I'm gonna just do this, protect the Sentinel, so I can have mana up for the safekeeping if I want to use it. Although I don't have double green, so if I play this on the next turn, I won't have safekeeping up unless I draw a green thing. I did not. Well, they are, by the way, mono islands there, so not so great for them. I'm not gonna get the map token. I would get 1 because they don't have an artifact, but I can do this and I have the safekeeping up. This has to be a 2-mana counterspell, otherwise I'm gonna draw another card from the Esper Sentinel. Well, that's not a 2-mana counterspell. Thank you for the card, Esper Sentinel again. I would be really happy to draw an untapped land so I can play the Lurus and then have this safekeeping up. But I'll actually allows them to keep blocking these things. But now that I do have this Lurus, I can on the next turn play the Kellan there. They are still needing land drops here. They are far from surveilling to 7. Oh, there's also the Aspirant, but I'm gonna play this. No, the Aspirant is good though, given that it can allow the Bodyguard to attack. Alright, I'm gonna do that. Okay. So now the question is, am I going to play the Aspirant from the graveyard? I think I am. That means one turn of not being able to protect Lurus, but I think it's worth it because I can just use the Lurus to good effect right now, and this also allows me to, of course, attack for 6 unless they jump block, and that is worth something. And I can still protect the Sentinel even if they have a... I guess they can't have a Wrath effect because those require double white. Yeah, Pact of Negation probably won't be too good here. So how much do I get punished? They did have now finally the white mana, so I don't have the safekeeping up. Snapcaster Mage choosing Fateful Absence. Okay, well, that's that. I guess on Lurus, it has to be on Lurus. Yeah, so I still have the Luminarch Aspirant. Get my clue token here. That's nice, but I need the lands for that. Yeah, I'm now kind of stuck at the 1 green, limiting my options. But it's okay. So I think I'll just pump the Bodyguard. It would be tempting to pump this so they are gonna get taxed even more, but there's just trades with the Snapcaster Mage in that case, and I don't like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this into a 4/3. They have to double block and lose both, or take 4, or jump block with one of them. All these options are good for me. And okay, that is fine. I'm not gonna save it with the safekeeping thing. I am going to play the Lingering Souls though. I could also play the Chariot, but then if they manage to rat the board, it's... I guess... crew for... I might not be able to actually crew it on the next turn. So let's see. Do they surveil? They surveil the double white card, understandable. Now they did get to 7, so they have this up, but they are still having a fairly low amount of mana. Okay, so now they could Sunfall me, against which the Tamiya's safekeeping wouldn't help. Well, this is kind of an awkward thing. I can't cast any of these spells if I want to keep the safekeeping up. So what I'm doing now pre-combat is just crack the clue. Maybe I can find a forest here. Temple Garden, something like that. Well, that's not quite as good, because with an untapped source I could play this Voice of Resurgence while have a mana up for the safekeeping, but this is fine, I would say. They will go down to quite low life total. I get to draw a card, which is a Thalia. It is tempting. It is tempting. That, by the way, gives me the Lingering Souls flashback. I think they're gonna have a Wrath. I would like to save one of my cards from a Wrath, maybe. Is that gonna even be mattering? I mean, this at least taxes the Wrath effect, but... Yeah, I would save the Luminarch Aspirant if they are gonna have a rat. I think it's worth it. Worth, you know. It could be a Sunfall, of course, and then rat. I mean, then this thing doesn't do anything, but we'll see. Okay. Nothing. Sure. I'm gonna play this pre-combat because that makes it so that if they cast a spell, I get one of those funny tokens. That means I don't have the Lingering Souls if I want to keep mana up for the safekeeping, which I do, but it's okay. I could have actually played even Thalia first. Okay, Sublime Epiphany. So they have to pay for some mana. And now they're gonna counter that spell, return this. They can draw a card, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if I use the safekeeping, they're gonna go to 1. Because I'm gonna get the counter, but it's not enough. Wow, what a difficult thing. They would go to 3 and I lose this, or they go to 1. Okay, I let this happen this time, and I'm gonna just play the. I'm gonna make this Sentinel get a counter, so they're taxed more now, and I'm gonna actually not even play have mana up for the safekeeping, but I'm not playing around a rat effect. I will have a vehicle left, which I will be able to crew on the next turn if they rat this board. Okay, they have to dig for something. That's really good news for me. It's just a negate. I don't care about the negate. I don't know why they even have a negate after sideboarding against this kind of a creature deck. I don't think it's that reliably gonna hit my things. So now if they would use a Wrath effect, I would draw a card from the Sentinel and I would be able to have a lethal attack with the Chariot. Because I can play like, you know, a combination of things here to crew it. Okay, that was a pretty clean sweep. Did I lose a game here? And more importantly, did I lose the coin flip in each of the matches? So was this a... Well, I'm not sure, but I feel like it was me being on the draw in each of the 6 games. Because if I lost the coin flip in each game, in each match, sorry, and then won the game 1 in each match and the game 2, that means I was never on the play. I'm not sure about that though, but I think I didn't win the coin flips. Or maybe I did win in the first match. But yeah, this deck just had curving out things because I think that I won the matches mostly because opponents were like not doing things early. They were relying on their counter spells and maybe mass removal in the other matchup, where whereas all that I did was try to curve out and then have these kind of you know, kind of responsive plays. If the opponent happens to play stuff like counter spells or rat effects, I have these flash creatures, instant speed effects to keep applying pressure to the board. And of course, my cheap creatures go under the counter spells too. So another kind of example of how in this cube you can just basically focus on good mana base and good mana curve, and the cards will be good regardless, and you will be good to go. So I had the black-red deck in my previous cube event, and now the white-green, and I don't think this even looked that great. I think I like the black-red deck a lot more because it had more of those very high impact cards. Here I had the Esika's Chariot. I guess the Lurus can be quite good too, but nothing like too amazing here. But that was still very much enough to keep winning the games. Alright, the next video will be another LCI draft, and then there will be still some cube videos after that too. Thank you for watching, and let's claim the prize first. Come on. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.